Hello, I'm Bill Cherry, and I am a financial advisor in Dallas, Texas. However, the majority of my clients are from old days when I was a longtime resident of the Galveston and Houston area. I want to talk to you today just to satisfy myself that I've told somebody. So why don't you be the guinea pig in this, if you don't mind? Here's the deal. The primary premise of money is either you have the money or somebody else has the money. In other words, you have whatever share you've got, and they've got about what a share they've got. They want to get theirs away from you, and you want to get yours away from them. That's all there is to it. You agree? Of course you do, because it's true. I want to talk to you today about the impending recession, which I predicted was going to happen until the gas prices started going up, and now it's no longer inflation. It's no longer inflation. That's being caused by anything other than the price of petroleum. The price of petroleum. Now remember, your salary is probably exactly what it was this time 6 months ago, a year ago, whenever it was, and they're not going to give you a raise to offset what you have to pay for groceries, rent, house payments, and all that sort of thing. As a result of the cost of gasoline and diesel fuel and so forth going up. It costs you more to get to work, a lot more, right? And you can't charge anybody on the other end. So here's what happens. The farmer, it's a good example. The farmer no longer can harvest or plant his food that he's going to sell in the market for the same price he did last year, whether he wants to or not. And why is that? That's because his fuel cost is more than it was, substantially more than it was. So he has to pay more for the fuel to sow his crops. He has to pay more for the fuel to harvest his crops, and he has to have more money for the fuel that it cost him to get it to market. And when it gets to market, the wholesaler has to raise his prices because guess what? The cost of diesel fuel has gone up for him. But he's also having to take and add to the deal the amount of money that the farmer and the wholesaler and so forth have added to their cost. So it gets to the store, and the store looks at it and says, okay, well, we got 25 cents a pound for okra last year, but the stuff is cost, and we made a nickel on it, and the stuff is now costing us 45 cents. And for us to make a nickel on it, we have to charge 50 cents. That's if he doesn't even bother to try to make more out of it as a result of the gasoline going up. So your salary, the retired people's monthly premium and so forth, didn't go up. In fact, if you had a 401k or whatever else, and it was primarily invested in the stock market, that's probably suffering a diminishing amount. Consequently, you have to be careful or you'll run out of money. That's not inflation. That's working you towards recession, because you can't do anything to solve your problem And meanwhile, the market is doing whatever it wants to. Meanwhile, on top of all of that, now the Federal Reserve decides they're going to raise the price of interest. So the interest rate's supposed to tick up and tick up and tick up. That's the absolute worst thing they can do. What they need to do is to tell the banks that their spread is too much. In other words, they're borrowing the money from the Fed at 1 and 1.5%, 2%, and so forth in that area. And they're lending it in credit cards as much as 20%. 20% interest. And they're paying 1% for it. It used to be that we had usury laws that were reasonable. When I was in the banking business, if we made 200 basis points over prime, or our cost of money, your savings and whatever else, we did real well. We made plenty of money. We really did. Now, who knows what they're making? I don't know. I don't have any idea. I can't figure it out. The financials are just bizarre. So what the Fed has to do is to try to come back and say to the banks, you cannot raise those prices of the interest rate that you're charging on credit cards. You've got to lower it. The most you can make on that during this time period, whatever it is, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 25 years, I don't care, is, let's say, 5 times your cost of money. If they can't make it on that, they are just in deep trouble. Okay? So that's the problem. And don't buy into the fact that the Federal Reserve man, Mr. Powell, and the Secretary of Treasury, Ms. Yellen, wanted to do all this other stuff, because it has nothing to do with anything. All it's going to do is make it worse. And if they make it worse, it will eventually, we will fall into a recession, and it'll be a serious one, probably the worst we've had in a long, long time. Bill told you. If you have any questions, you're welcome to call me. And also, I'd like for you to look at my website. It's wscherry, C-H-E-R-R-Y, wscherry.com, and you'll see what we do, okay? I enjoyed talking with you, and God bless you and your family.